Hey guys. Yeah, we made a little progress, so we'll share a little video, maybe a couple things that we could touch on, in case anyone's looking for some ideas. Anyways, the type of LED lights that we use is a soldered connection. So, like I was saying, this is a 5-wire sprinkler system wire actually, so it's made to go underground. It's made for wet conditions, and then the LED lights have 4 colors. So what we do is we hook up this clip, make our connections, tuck it in our box to code, and then clip in our LED light, and then makes life easy. Clip, and then we clip in series, and then to the next series strip. Anyways, we made a few changes. We had actually made this a little wider because when we do our teak board, you'll see why. We make a pattern when we do the wood. It's tongue and groove, and usually we come around the room with a border and define all the openings and the detailing of the wall plane, and then we wrap in and fill. Then we fill in between the borders, and we do that similarly with our tile. We have a continuous border that goes around the room and starts to define areas by borders, and then we have a border and then a field. So we fill in our fields, and then we choose to do whatever patterns we do on our fields. But to start, it's usually a border. So anyways, we were getting ready to close this off. My dad recommended we put a ceiling fan in here because, we don't have 2 windows, we only have 1. So when there's breezes, the only way to get cross ventilation is if the door is open, and it could cross through some bedroom windows, or so we put a fan in last minute. But so I'll splice on some videos. You can see how we patted down with blocks, and then we put in a 1.5-inch strapping 2x4s, and so we could come down to the height we were talking about. So when the teak comes along, it just goes into the window frame and details into the window frame without any funny little pieces anywhere. And then there is our exhaust fan, and then what happens is the teak just comes over the top of that and outlines around, and then the cover goes up and cleans that off. And I don't know if you want to look up here and see the planter. Here's the planter, and we put a little automotive sleeper in there, and we can get around to screw up and screw the ceilings up, and then we'll do that with the ceiling of the teak. But what we're going to try to do next is get this teak going, because the teak stays all up in the upper half of the room, and then down below is all marble. So if we can get all the upper half done when we marble the floor and stuff, we're not going to be on it with equipment and stuff, or things are going to damage it, And then pretty much once the marble's done and grouted, all we got to do is bring in our finished pieces, the vanity, the mirrors, the toilet, the tub, and we can wire in our outlets, put in our faucets and our fixtures. So what we'll concentrate on now is getting the teak going. Of course, we added another switch for that ceiling fan. So we have all our switches, and then we have our 2 thermostats. One for the radiant floor. The other one is for forced hot water. Anyways, that's what it looks like, all plywood. Start to see the space. And then there's our lights, and that gets drilled out one more time through the finished teak board. And we'll share all that with you. You know how we apply it, but we use an adhesive that's really strong for the back of the tongue and groove board, and then we use our flooring nailer to shoot it up through. And that's 3/4 up there. Anyways, I could show you a couple little extra things, and then that's enough for that video. But these are the screws we're using, these GRKs, and these are the ones we use to our framing, 3 1/8. These are the ones we use to our plywood, 2-inch. That's what we're using for the adhesive. And it's in a different adhesive for the teak. And here's some of your teak boards here. These are the wider ones, and 3 1/4 the smaller ones. But anyway, so this is the idea. When the tile comes up to the teak, you got this lip, this jump. And the reason why we change between 1/2 inch and 3/4 is to make the transition smooth between the two materials. So the teak goes on the 1/2, and the tile goes on the 3/4, and it leaves just enough room for grout. So when we grout behind that, thin set. When we thin set behind that tile, it comes flush. So we don't have any funny jumps going between materials. We're trying to make the material change seamless. We don't want some, if there was a huge step, if you're looking for a separation on the plane, we're looking for a smooth transition between, so it's more like an inlay. So, when that gets its thin set, it comes flush. If anyone's curious why we had 2 different thicknesses of plywood, that's why, right there. The tile, the marble meets the teak. The marble's thinner than the teak. Alright guys, that's all we had this year. And then of course you know that the whole shower area gets skinned and hardy, 1/4 inch. And then this whole area gets waterproofed. Well, excuse me, we'll run the tile up a little bit higher in the shower area. And then it steps down more towards eye level in the rest of the bathroom. So visually you could look at it. You could look at the grain and come close to the wood. It's not like up out of your reach. You can get at it, and then there's the transition line right there. Alright guys, that's it. Just want to say happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, and happy Father's Day to my father for helping me, because he's the one that's doing all this. If it was up to me, there wouldn't be nothing done over here. With him, he helps me with all this stuff. So happy Father's Day, Dad, and thanks. And everyone else, enjoy the weekend, and we'll catch you on the next one.